a walk on the woo-woo side with me. My name is Michelle Douglas and I am on a mission to help you to step into your power so that you can create the life you desire. Visit me at empoweredlifeprograms.com to learn more. Hello. Today we're talking about journaling and how it can be used to support you through the process of vibrational change. So journaling, it's basically just writing in a little notebook. So I've got a little, I've got a fancy notebook as well, but lately I've just been writing in this one because it's a good size. So I've got a nice little A5 journal here that I write in every day. When you are going through the process of creating a change in your life, journaling is one of the best things you can do. And I'm going to talk about specific things to write in your journal so that you can track your progress as you work towards manifesting, back in my microphone, manifesting love or money or a new job or anything else you want in your life. Okay, so get yourself a notebook. That's the first thing to do. I've got pink and purple pens because I like pink and I like purple. So I like my journaling to be pretty. Every day, if you're working with me, you're going to be doing something new most days, or you'll be implementing something new and consistently taking that same action over that time. What I need you to do when you if you're working with me in the Align with Love program, is to write down what the action is and the date you took it. So in your journal, you could be saying, yeah, I had, this is what I did today, and this is what else is going on in my life, or whatever else you want to write about. Write about anything, your gratitudes as well. Put them in that. Start off with your gratitudes, maybe do some visualizations, and then write down what actions you've taken. Then watch for the feedback. So once you've taken action, and especially if it's a new action that you've just started to implement, so you're creating a new habit, you will receive feedback in the form of a new experience. So something out of the blue will happen. So I've mentioned this before. So you might find some money on the ground, you might have a chance meeting, or you might receive a random phone call that you weren't expecting, or anything. You might even have something that doesn't feel so good happen, like you might get a flat tire on your car. Anything that's not part of the ordinary, write it down. Because here's the thing, well, when you're working with me, what happens is when we meet every 2 weeks, we look at all of the actions you've taken, and then we look at all of the feedback you've received, and we match them up if we need to. So if something so-called negative has happened and it's not what we call a deselection, actually it's telling me I need to actually do a podcast on deselection. So deselection is when you're creating a shift vibrationally, whatever was aligned with you at point A will not be aligned with you at point B, okay? Now, as you start taking your new actions, you are shifting vibrationally away from point A. So whatever's at point A that hasn't wanted to come along for the ride, it will literally just drop off. It leaves your life, or something happens that, you might lose a big client at work, that sort of thing. And that's just a sign when it's a deselection, it's a sign that you're moving in the right direction. It's just that this client couldn't come along for that ride with you because you've got more valuable clients down the track. If it's an attractive outcome, in which case you've attracted a negative circumstances as opposed to it being a deselection, that's where we need to work out what action actually caused that attractive outcome, so we cannot do it again and attract that sort of thing again. So there's a few different things we can work on. Now, if you're not working with me in the program, it's more a trial and error thing. So if you think you know what action you took that contributed to that outcome or that feedback, you need to stop doing it and see what happens. If something continues to happen that's not positive, you know that you stopped doing the wrong action and you need to try stopping the other one. This is why it's so important to write down all of your actions. Everything new you are doing, write it down. That way, you know exactly why something has happened, but you don't necessarily know which of those actions contributed to that one. Okay. Then when you get your feedback, and if it's generally positive feedback, you know that you're working in the right direction, and you may have a blow up along the way, which is something I experienced due to one of my biggest manifestations in a long time. Something massive happened in a it felt really bad, so bad that one day I was just so upset I had to pull over into an empty car park and just cry and ask the universe why I was being put through this. I received a very clear message that told me that if I was experiencing status quo, that would mean I've not created the vibrational shift needed to achieve the goal that I had. So this was a very clear message that I had created a big enough shift for that to happen. And yes, it did end up a perfect outcome, like it turned out really well. But at the time, it felt really bad. Okay. But I knew exactly what the actions were that had contributed to that massive blow up. And then the message I received was very clear that I had moved in the right direction. So yeah, it's really important that you do understand what you're doing, write them down, track what you're doing, track the feedback you're receiving along the way so that you can actually know what to do next week and the week after that. Because again, it's another manifesting blueprint thing from the program where some people need to take single consistent actions over time. Other people need to take like 10 actions at once and do that regularly, because that's how each of them is wired. Now, I'm a consistency person, so I need to be making sure I'm creating new habits through consistent action in order to create my own vibrational shifts in the right direction. Whereas I've got a friend who needs to do the far and wide stuff, and that's fine. There's no good or bad. It's just the way you approach your actions will differ depending on how you are wired. And if you don't have that information on hand because you're not working with me, then try one way, see what happens. Try the other way, see what happens. So it's trial and error, but you will get there. You will see the results pretty quickly. Usually feedback will come through within a day or so. The longest I think I've seen is about 3 days. So it just depends. And the bigger the action you take, the bigger the blow up that will come with it. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, journaling is a great way to track your progress and your actions so that you can determine if you are moving in the right direction or not. So I'll leave you with that one. And yeah, just get yourself your notebook if you don't already have one and just start writing stuff down. You only have to spend a few minutes a day, and yeah, leave you with that.